when the pressure's on, is when it becomes difficult. And I think, Brian, one of the things that I really admire and about you and Matt as well is you take a science approach to your people, right? And I think understanding the science of your people allows you then to leverage your gut instincts more effectively. And it saves you a tremendous amount of time. I love to hear how you leverage science and gut in this people strategy, digital strategy transformation.
Well, obviously, I'm a huge fan of predictive analytics and also cognitive speed. And knowing that about your people, I've also pushed some people earlier in my career much more than they wanted to be pushed, but because they trusted me so much and they didn't want to let me down because of what was the elements of their behavior profile, they wouldn't tell me that. They wouldn't give me the bad news and say, you know what, I don't want this for me as bad as you do. I'm like, you can sell 20 cars, let's go. And they didn't want that. They had different priorities. They had different stuff going on with work-life balance in their home, and their kids were at different ages, and they needed to be there. But I just was, but you can, so let's go faster. It's not enough. There's always more. Let's rock and roll. And a lot of times they would get so frustrated, they didn't feel comfortable because they were conflict averse, pushing back and telling me, hey, that's not for me. That's not what I want. And I frustrated a lot of people, and I didn't want to hear and I didn't want to mind for hey, does this not make sense? Because that didn't make sense to me. And I was pushing people too hard and vice versa, right? So there's some people that want to be just hit right between the eyes of the 2x4. They don't want any candy coating or anything like that. And and they won't respect you unless you hit them head on. And then also looking at small groups, that floor team, internet team, our F&I team, if we had everybody exactly the same, it's a nightmare. I've done it and it doesn't work. There's a cohesive ecosystem, and there's not one right way to do it. I mean, there's multiple different ways, and there's multiple. It's like a football offense. I think if you've got a great quarterback, you structure a 5 wide out set or whatever it is, or you got a great running back, you're going to have 2 tight ends, and you're just going to run different formations. And there's no right way to win the Super Bowl. If you got a great defense or whatever, there's just, you got to look and see who the players on your team are. No different than good to great. You get them on the bus. You acquire as much talent as you possibly can, regardless of work history. Some of our most successful people, most of them, came out of the hospitality industry, hotels, Starbucks, P.F. Chang's. They weren't born and raised, with a brick phone coming, out of the womb, making, cold calls. They just know how to take care of people. And I think that's a very underutilized thing that we try to figure out, okay, who can sell the most product, not who can take care of the most customers. And one, perpetuates the other.